To security matters now, 16 people were killed in an attack in Nigeria's north-central state of Plateau, where clashes between herders and farmers are common. The attack is said to have occurred in a village called Mushu. There has been no form of statement from the Nigerian army as regards this, and Plateau is one of the several ethnically and religiously diverse interland states known as Nigeria's Middle Belt, where intercommunal conflict has claimed hundreds of lives in recent years. Now, tragedy has struck once again in Plateau State, where gunmen targeted the NTV community near Bokos local government area early on Monday, killing at least 8 individuals. Military Task Force spokesperson Captain Oya James, who confirmed the incident, disclosed that troops have been deployed to the village. In the meantime, residents of the village who escaped the attack disclosed that the attackers came in large numbers, overpowered a few vigilantes, burnt houses and killed 8 people during the brazen attack. Sadly, this incident follows an earlier attack in the neighboring Lisham Kwahasnat community, where gunmen claimed the lives of at least 14 individuals. In response to the renewed violence, the state government has directed the military task force and security agencies to intensify efforts to apprehend the attackers and halt the bloodshed. To discuss this, we are being joined by Barrister Dalyop Solomon Mwantiri, the National President of Berom Youth Moulder-Association. Barrister Mwantiri, thank you so much for joining us on the news.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
From what you've observed so far, what are the patterns or trends in the recent attacks in Plateau State, particularly regarding the tactics being used by these so-called gunmen who are said to be targeting communities and villages in Plateau State?
Sorry, may I get you again? I didn't get you clearly.
So I said, based on your observation, what is the pattern or what are the patterns or trends in these recent attacks in Plateau State, where we see gunmen use certain particular kind of tactics to attack villages and communities in Plateau State?
Well, what is happening here in the state is very, very appalling. That for the past 2 days, Plateau State has been witnessing consistent attacks by Fulani militias. And to get the story or the narrative straight, this is not a clash, but it's a full-scale terrorism that the attackers who are Marudas or Fulani, to put it in the right perspective, that have been mobilized not only within the state, but also from part of Nasarawa, Bauchi, Kaduna, and other neighboring states that have come into the state and have been stationed in identified locations. And among those locations, we have in Barkiladi, Riom, and Bokos. And then, of course, day before yesterday, we've had not less than 22 people killed in Mangu and Bokos local government areas. And then, of course, as at last night, of course, before the incident, at about 4:45 p.m. of yesterday, 24th December 2023, the available intelligence gather, which was given out to the appropriate authorities and relevant agencies, particularly the Operation Safe Haven, that there is going to be a murder of all attacks on the plateau, with communities mentioned in Barkiladi, Bokos, and Mangu. And then, of course, at about 6:45 p.m. or thereabout, we received distress calls that the attackers are moving from those locations that they have been stationed and are moving, and of course, they were in hundreds and in their thousands that invaded, first of all, Urum village in Barkiladi. Of course, that's the district, Gashi's district in Barkiladi local government. And then, of course, security responded rapidly and repelled them. So, of course, because they are already stationed in so many locations, they now came out, remobilized themselves, and spread to other neighboring villages. That at the moment, as at yesterday, the herders attacked not less than 11 villages from one village to the other. And then, of course, what we have now is not less than 70 people have been recovered dead. Some are still declared missing. And then some corpses are still being recovered at the moment. So that is what is on the plateau. And then these are attackers that they've been mobilizing themselves and their locations are known. And then, of course, we have not, what is actually appalling here is that we have not seen, any arrests made on the leaders of those locations where it has been reported that the attackers have been brought and stationed. And what is happening here on the plateau is not Fulani as the way it is being narrated, but it is bandits. These are bandits that have been recruited and brought into the state. Of course, with the aid of the Fulanis that have been hosted by native, communities. So that is actually what is happening here in Plateau State.
Barrister Mwantiri. Yeah, it's quite disturbing and appalling that despite intelligence gathering and the fact that we have, of course, looking at the footage, we saw security personnel combing both the bushes and the streets to apprehend these culprits, that they still go on carrying out their dastardly acts. Now, of course, you have said that is as a result of the fact that they have been stationed and brought in from other states. What is being done by the security architecture in the state to do with them? Of course, because you said that they have been able to identify that these people move around in droves, their intelligence gatherings. Is it because they outnumber the security apparatus or the personnel in the state? That's why it's been hard to apprehend or to stop them.
Well, looking at the time the attackers invaded those villages, it was, at about 6 p.m., which it is believed that before security could mobilize themselves and swing into action, they might have done a lot of mayhem, which is what happened. But of course, looking at the number of people that came to attack not less than 11 villages at a time, it beat down one imagination, the number of the militants that were recruited and brought into the state and that really, perpetrated this act. So of course, looking at the whole thing, they really outnumber the number of, security or on ground. And if not because of the rapid response of the security personnel, particularly the leadership of General A.E. Abdul Salam, who has been very rapid, who has been very proactive, in attending to security situation. I tell you, by now, Plateau State would have been witnessing not less than 300, losses. And then, of course, for the first time, even though previously we've had attacks during Christmas, prior to Christmas, and shortly after Christmas, but we've never had this kind of loss as the way we witnessed it just the day before yesterday and yesterday. And now, even at the moment as we are talking now, there have been tensions within those areas. But of course, we've gotten in touch with the GOC and also suggested ways that could, address further losses and then further attacks. And
now, Barrister Mwantiri, before we begin to look at the necessary solutions, of course, that would help in nipping these acts in Plateau State, of course, we've not been able to establish if this was done by nationals or descents from either Hausa or the Fulani community. That is a tentative statement that we've not been able to, of course, either corroborate or debunk. But the truth is, from your own end, you are the president of the Berom Youth Moulder-Association. You're the national president. We know that there are vigilantes in Plateau State. What have you done in your own regards or in your own respects to help probably stop or try to provide assistance in terms of security for these communities in Plateau State?
Of course, one outstanding synergy or part of contribution we have made is provision of early warning signals to the appropriate authorities, because as I said it earlier, that at about 4:45 p.m., we're able to get security intelligence tips as to the movement of these individuals from Nasarawa State, bordering villages of Nasarawa State. Particularly, there is a village, there is an interior bush called Dajingomna, and also places like Mahanga in Riom local government, and Fasto, that where these attackers have been stationed, we're able to get it from informants and related same, timeously to the security agents, which of course in the prior to this incident, security teams have always been going out and then proactive measures taken. But of course, this one, it was taken to be like the usual ones, and then of course, believing that nothing will happen since security chiefs have already gone out. That is, the early warning signals have already gone out for proactive measures. And then yet, this thing happened, and it became very appalling to us as a people. And then,
Barrister,
we've also been...
Barrister Dalyop Mwantiri, I know there's so much you would like to say at this point, but this is one issue we want to delve into deeply to understand the rationale and how it operates in Plateau State and what can be done to bring to an end these nefarious activities in Plateau State. So I'd like you to join us by 10 p.m. when we get to revisit this particular issue so that we can talk more to you about that.
All right.